Hi, I'm Dan Goodstein with RPA AI. Welcome to this week's edition of Practitioner's Perspective. I'm here with Anurag Bhatnagar. He's the Senior Director of Engineering and Business Applications at Hughes Network Systems. Anurag, good to be with you today.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning.
So Anurag, you've been involved with Hughes now. I think I saw for 20 plus years. That's a long time, especially these days. I'd love to learn more briefly about your role and a little bit more about Hughes.
Sure. Hughes Network System is a leading satellite broadband and managed network service provider throughout the world. We are heavily focused on our North and South America residential and enterprise markets. And as you see, networks are becoming more like commodities. So better customer experience and saving operational costs are extremely important for all service provider. And that has been our focus too. So yeah, I've been with Hughes for more than 2 decades, as you rightly said, and have been through many different roles in engineering. So currently I lead the rollout of multiple modules of our OSS BSS platform. And I also run the RPA COE for our business operations.
Great. Great. So explain a little bit more. I know a big part of this is field services. So for those that are not familiar, what are some of the current challenges in this space?
Sure. So we operate through a large dealer network with 10,000s of field technicians worldwide to facilitate installation and repair of our network equipment at our customer premises. So there are thousands of jobs that are scheduled on a daily basis. So the key challenge always remains in making sure all the field activities are happening as per schedule. We're not missing customers' commitment and our internal SLAs. And managing a large field workforce and managing the network activities typically requires a lot of back office staff who is kind of helping the business operations, making sure we are right on the job. So our field service staff is extremely competent, and they really, go out of way to help the business. So these are some of the challenges we have to make sure that, especially in COVID times, we are up to date on that.
Yeah, yeah. And so I'm curious from an automation standpoint, where did your journey start? Those challenges in mind. What prompted you to think about RPA and maybe what were some of the surprises that you didn't expect along the way?
Sure. So I also lead the development of our field services platform. And so we are always constantly looking at enhancing our systems to add all the business features that the operations group is looking for. But we are constantly also constrained with a lot of high priority development projects, lack of interfaces between the systems, and all of these are very high development LOE projects. So we came across a couple of years back this low-code cool technology called RPA, and which kind of enabled us to quickly support these use cases and help our business. So our focus was always been on enhancing customer and employee experience. Employees are, as important as the customer experience is, and to ensure our customer SLAs. So most of our recent RPA projects were to manage our customer interactions and experience. So for example, our RPA bots looks through various events in multiple systems. They inform customers of the impending activities. They remind technicians for their jobs which are coming up, or if they're not uploading the right documents and pictures. They alert field managers for the jobs in jeopardy, and they create reports for our business leaders. So everybody is in tune with what's happening, and bots kind of help and facilitate our human staff to add to their workload and facilitate some of these mundane jobs to help our business operations. So some of the surprises you asked first surprise was how there was such a quick turnaround and enabling this technology. So which to the surprise of business and to our folks that, oh yeah, we can do something low-hanging fruits pretty quickly and help business out in just weeks. However, as we matured, we learned that managing a constant slate of RPA bots requires constant maintenance and upkeep. So, so people forget about that bots need some maintenance too. So, but yep, that was good learning for us.
That might be one of the most common misconceptions. I speak to a lot of members who, first they're trying to figure out how to start, then they're trying to figure out how to scale. And then part of the scale conversation is, how do I maintain these and devote the right resources to development pipeline and opposed to maintenance pipeline. But you mentioned something interesting, and I know you're particularly proud of this project. Many of the members I speak to really start RPA around cost saving and maybe efficiency, but it's more about the cost saving element. You guys actually started, if I understand correctly, with something that was not around cost at all. It was completely around customer experience, around improving service delivery. How did that come about, and was it challenging internally to kind of talk about implementing something that didn't have maybe the traditional ROI metrics?
Yeah, so the way it was kind of different for us that this initiative started from a software delivery organization, which was responsible to deliver all our back office applications. So traditionally, a lot of times RPA is taken by like a shared service or IT organization, which do not develop the systems. So we started with RPA as being one of the tool set that we're going to use to make sure we do the service delivery of the systems. So it gelled pretty well. We were very informed in what we can do versus what we cannot do in RPA because we had a lot of tool sets. We had to make sure, are we using APIs at the right place? Are we using business orchestration platforms at the right place? And we are using RPA at the right place. So it was not kind of shoehorning RPA into everything that we could. So that kind of led to a lot of the right thought process and acceptability. And it was just one of the ways to solve problems. And that's how we took it forward.
No, that's great. That's great. And I assume there's been some tangible benefits to this. Are there any kind of KPIs that you can share?
Yeah, considerable benefits to talk about. And what we did was we took all our bot projects as we created like in a typical software development lifecycle, we created our own BDLC, bot development lifecycle. And it started with initially making sure that we have metrics in place to justify every bot development like we do for every software development project. So we collected and documented as is processes. We've tried to look at how much time it takes, what is the involved LOE if you do it in a software development lifecycle versus bot development lifecycle. So just in last year, we saved thousands and thousands of hours and the dollars to go with it. But the considerable metrics that we always look for is to look at our customer satisfaction scores. And we could see a considerable increase in our annual surveys from our customers, and they appreciated all the touch points we introduced because of the RPA and increase in the customer satisfaction. So for me, that was the key KPI, and also from the organization perspective. But yeah, considerable number of hours and dollars saved also to go along with it.
Sure. I mean, that's the nirvana, right? The trifecta. Happy customers, happy employees, and also cost saves. Those are the types of stories that are really kind of exciting in this space. So no, thank you, and I appreciate you sharing that. I don't know. Your experience also spans, as you kind of alluded to, beyond RPA and into mobile, into AI and machine learning. Were any of these technologies part of this project?
Yes, so very interestingly, because we are also dealing in a lot of these other emerging technologies. we were able to leverage and integrate some of these into our RPA projects, especially with respect to extraction of important information from documents and images from our the existing artifacts to automate some of those processes. We were able to use some of the natural language processing to determine the intent of an email and then kind of try to build processes around it to automate the actions based on what a customer is stating in an email. So these are some of these easy to use technologies that we were able to use. We not only used readily available modules on AI and ML, but we were able to integrate with some of our custom built machine learning models to kind of really bring forth the power of machine learning into our RPA projects. And there are a lot more use cases to look for, and I'm really excited about going into some of those in the coming years.
And so these were technologies that already existed within the organization, but through the project, you started kind of gluing it all together, yeah?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, great. No, great. What's your advice for someone who maybe doesn't have that, right? They don't have the maturity that maybe Hughes did at that point in AI and ML. Any advice you would give to how to at least start that process or set up for a future where that kind of data is available?
Yeah, so I see a lot of again, AI and ML is becoming like commodities, and a lot of people are creating models. They are exposing these capabilities via APIs. So it makes it very easy to integrate with existing RPA technologies. For example, you can capture an image and send it to this API, and API will do analysis for you and send it back. So you don't really have to build these technologies and capabilities within the organization. There are a lot of these available. Some are just out of box from Amazon, Azure, Google, but there are a lot of custom shops which are creating very specific model which can be trained to your particular needs, and you can integrate custom models. And I also see a lot of traction in a lot of these RPA vendors to go on the API way. They're trying to incorporate API orchestration in their platforms. They're trying to, buy out companies which are strong in APIs. So, and I see that's a good gelling of all this to become like a intelligent process automation, essentially.
Yeah, we're seeing the same, and in particular, as you and I have talked before, right, around certain industry solutions that are leveraging a combination of these technologies to deliver particular outcomes in various different spaces, different use cases. So I think the next year, 18 months will be exciting. What's Anurag? Last question. What's the next project for you, or what's the next opportunity that you see?
So what we are trying to do right now is investigate some of these process mining capabilities which are coming out with a lot of vendors, and essentially trying to help our business to determine what processes that should be taken up for automation next. What is the ROI on that? And so that we go through a formal process of identifying, instead of trying to do this ourselves, we're trying to use some of these tools to determine what are the high hits or what are the low hanging fruits that we can, and many of these tools are becoming pretty intelligent. They're coming out with a lot of metrics and data collection and to help facilitate these decisions. Other areas we are looking at is into getting some of very complicated bots being developed to help our customer service and in network diagnostic domains. So we're creating bots which will go to number of our network elements, will diagnose what's happening if there is a ticket being created. And instead of high-end engineers trying to do the first level of triaging, they would do all the data collection for them to make quick decisions on where the problem is, and maybe some of them proactively. So we're looking for kind of develop some of these with some of the IPs that we have in the network domain and help in our, integrate with our AI ops kind of domains and kind of really make them intelligent and help the business in some of these very intrinsic areas as well.
Sounds good. Well, Anurag, I hope you'll come back in a few months and let us know how that's going. And in the meantime, appreciate you sharing the journey with us.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Anurag, thank you.
All right. Bye.